Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode, the Thursday episode of Daily Betslip. I'm reporting live from the BetSided office. Donnavan Smoot not here, though. Donnavan, thank you for joining me, as tonight we have our game of the night features your undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly, taking on the Houston Texans.
Come on now. I've been telling y'all for weeks now. We're going to the Super Bowl. It's going to happen. It's a done deal. Wrap it up.
Yeah, they are massive favorites tonight, but be sure to vote in the poll. If you're on YouTube right now, poll should be live there in the chat. Poll should, I believe, still be live on Twitter as well. But as always, we're going to get into some community picks here in a moment and then give out our best bets for tonight. And then we're going to talk who is going to win the NFC South and the NFC West, two divisions who are very close, and two divisions that no one really thought the NFC South was going to be good, but a lot of people thought the NFC West was going to be very good. But what is happened in both these divisions is a surprising team is winning both of them. Seahawks up right now in the NFC West. My Atlanta Falcons leading the NFC South. Can they hold on to that lead? We'll discuss that a little bit later on the show. And then, of course, we'll finish up with the game of the night. But let's start, as always, with community picks. I think we have 5 for tonight. A lot of picks were sent in. Let's start with the first one here. Rob Kochian at Kochian12. Over 6 goals for the Coyotes and the Stars game. I'm not betting on this game. The Arizona Coyotes have I hate them. I'm just going to say that about them because I continue to try to fade them, and I keep losing because every single advanced analytic you want to look at, the Coyotes are dead last in the NHL except for one, and that one key analytic is shooting percentage. They're terrible at everything, but they can put the puck in the back of the net. So if you are going to bet on a Coyotes game, I think an over bet is probably a good place to look since they're such a sharp shooting team early in the season. And the Stars, I would only bet on a Stars over game if Jake Oettinger is not starting for them. And I don't believe he is. I believe their backup goalie is starting. I'm just going to see if I can verify that right now. And if their backup is starting, then I absolutely love this bet. Scott Wedgwood is set as likely. So there you have it. You got a really good shooting team going up against a backup goalie. I love the over in that one, so I like that bet. Best of luck to you. Donnavan, I assume no groundbreaking thoughts on that one or anything you want to add there?
Nah, nothing groundbreaking here. I am surprised though to see Dallas all the way up there, nearing the top 10 in goals scored this year. So I'm keeping my eye on that moving forward.
Yes. From your home state of Texas, the Dallas Stars. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the next pick here. If there's any NBA ones, I'll get you to take over because I won't have anything to add to those. But we got MLB. This is NFL. I got confused because this is 2 games tonight between Houston and Philadelphia. I saw Philly and I thought Phillies, but no, it is Philly minus 7.5 in the first half and Philly over 14.5 in the first half. Philly, this comes in from Chris Hale at chale0925. Philly has been a first half team all season, averaging 21 points in the first half and giving up only 8.3 in the first half. Quick math says that's plus 12.7 points. I won't check your math. I'll trust you, Chris, for the quick starting Eagles. On the other side, Texans only averaging 8 points for the first half. I do know specifically they're very good in the second quarter as well, just dominating teams in the second quarter of these games. I'm going to see if I can bring this up really quick. Second quarter points per game, the Eagles are averaging 18, and that's the most in the NFL by 5.7. So it's good first half, good second quarter. Donnavan, as an Eagles fan, how do you feel about that one?
I like the over in the first half more than I like the 7.5.
Okay.
But because everything that he said was correct. The Eagles they've had like one. The whole game script goes like this. You have like a solid first quarter, right? Whatever happens may happen. You blow the doors off them in the second quarter. Third quarter is when we've let them back into the game, and then we have one drive in the fourth quarter where it's a 7-minute long drive. We run the heck out of the football, put the game away, turn the 3-point game into the 10-point game, and then whatever, and then we close it out. So I like the 14.5. I think that we're probably due for another second quarter explosion. So I'm a little wary on the 7.5 just because I don't know, man. It's it's Thursday night football, and anything can happen in Thursday night football, and it's just so weird. So I'm not in love with the spread, but I do think that some points can happen in the first half.
I just noticed if I lean a little bit like this and tilt my head, it kind of looks like David Ortiz is kissing me on the cheek. You see that?
That's beautiful.
That's fun.
Who's next to him? Who's next to Ortiz?
I don't know who that is. I don't know.
All right.
I don't recognize him.
All right, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I don't think I recognize anyone except for David Ortiz on the wall behind me. All right, let's dive into the next community pick here after a little David Ortiz segment there. Sean Mitchelson, always good for a prop bet here at the Sox Fan 24. Davis Mills under 217.5 passing yards. Philly allows 183.4 passing yards per game. Mills' only comparable opposing defense was Denver, and he threw for 177. Mills averaging 6.4 yards per attempt. Cooks and Collins both out at wide receiver. I do agree with this pick. I think if there's a way that the Texans can attack the Eagles, it is actually on the ground. If they're smart, I think they're going to run the ball. I like Dameon Pierce to go over his rushing total, and because of that, I would like Davis Mills under his passing total. So I agree with that one. Any thoughts on that prop bet, Don?
I like this one as well because, like you said, the Eagles, as good as their defense has been, they're 29th in the NFL in opponent yards per carry. So that is clearly a weakness that Houston can exploit. And without Brandon Cooks, without Nico Collins, you're going to be putting a lot of pressure on Davis Mills to get stuff done against Bradbury and Slay. I'm not sure if he's going to have too many opportunities to really air it out. So, yeah, I like this one.
Yeah, if there's an argument against it, I guess it'd be kind of if the Eagles get up really big, really early, they might just need to air it out and maybe get some garbage time passing yards. But even with that being the case, I like the under there. Let's go ahead and bring up the next one. I think we have two more. Wow. At Nolan Poker, moneyline underdog alert. Texans on the money line to hand the Philadelphia Eagles their first loss of the 2022 season. Donovan, I assume you don't like that one.
Get out of here. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that at all. It's not happening.
I'll say I respect it.
Okay, yeah.
See if
you can get that. You can get that.
I mean, calling a money line upset by itself is a bold call, but this is a plus 530, over 5-1 odds for the Houston Texans to win tonight. I respect the boldness. I will say I did sprinkle a tiny little bet on a Houston parlay with the Texans and Astros to both win, but I don't think it's going to happen. That was just for funsies.
The Eagles are going to win tonight. The only thing that we need to be discussing is whether or not they're going to cover, and that's it. I would be probably the most furious that you have ever seen me if the Eagles end up losing tonight. Not tonight. It can't go out like this. The record can't fall like this.
Our very own Peter Dewey just did a dance move right over there in front of me here, so he's trying to distract me. But yeah, I would say a 14-point underdog would be one of the biggest upsets in recent NFL history.
Embarrassing,
that'd be mad. It's certainly the biggest upset of the season for sure. Okay, I think we have one more community pick for tonight. This comes in from Cody Williams, my Green on the Greens co-host here at the Sizzle 20. Astros first 5 team total over 2.5 plus 130. Fading Thor, a.k.a. Noah Syndergaard. Astros have 15 hits in 2 games in Philadelphia against 2 better Phillies arms. Value with plus money. So Astros to get on the board early. 3 runs at plus 130. A little plus money bet there from Cody. I do have a pick for the game, so I will get into that here shortly. Do you have any thought? If that was the last community pick, no NBA community picks. I guess there is only 2 NBA games tonight, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a small slate for tonight, and the games aren't they're not marquee matchups. But I do have picks for both of them, so we will get to those in a minute. But as for this one, I like this play a lot. I actually have my daily dinger for tonight comes from the Astros. I'm taking Chas McCormick plus 680 to hit a home run tonight. And we've seen, listen, Syndergaard, he hasn't gone long in his starts. He's going to be somewhere around 35 pitches. But this is an Astros team that thrives with the long ball. During the regular season, they were fourth in Major League Baseball on home runs per game. So when their offense gets rolling, it's because the home run is rolling. So you're probably going to see runs pile in clusters. So I like over 2.5 tonight.
All right, I like it. Elias M in the chat says hi. Hello, Elias. Let's just stay on the topic here of the World Series game. Let's jump into our best bets, and I will just go ahead and start with my first one because since we're talking about it anyways, may as well stay on topic. The Astros taking on the Phillies, and I will take over 7.5. So, Donnavan, you were just saying that you kind of like some runs to be scored here. Cody likes the Astros team total over first 5, 2.5. So we're all kind of on the same page. I'm going to bank on some runs here. These two teams in the postseason, 710 and a 687 OPS, which is pretty good, especially considering, obviously, throughout the postseason, they're playing against playoff teams. It's not like they've had opportunities to tee off against the Reds in the playoffs. So pretty good OPS for both teams so far this postseason. Also, Justin Verlander has been trash in these playoffs. He hasn't really been good in the playoffs throughout his career, 3.69 postseason ERA. And he's given up at least 5 runs in 2 of his 3 starts in these playoffs. And I'm with Cody in the fact that I don't trust Thor, aka Noah Syndergaard, either. So I think we're going to see a lot of runs tonight. I like the over at 7.5.
Okay, I like this one as well. Obviously, we're banging on the Astros to carry their end, but we've seen in back-to-back games like the Phillies go on their run and they hold the Astros down, and the Astros go on their run, they hold the Phillies down. Everybody's going to come right back to the middle. Both offenses, I think, are going to show up tonight, so we're going to get some runs. And at near plus money, I really like the over tonight too.
All right, I like it. Now you have 3 NBA plays, I believe. Why don't you jump into your first one?
Yes, sir. So I'm taking the Magic plus 9.5, little underdog action against the Warriors tonight. And listen, so both teams haven't been great against the spread this year. Golden State has had some trouble. Their defense hasn't looked great. They're 2-6 against the spread, but Orlando's been in a lot of games this year. They just haven't finished in the fourth quarter to get them to a point where they can cover. But Golden State, again, 2-6 against the spread this year. They're 23rd in net rating, and their net rating is just 1.2 points ahead of the Magic. So I think if Orlando can come in and if they can do what they've been doing, which is staying close for the first 3 quarters and just keep it within distance, I think that they can stay within 9.5 points of the Warriors, who again haven't been able to blow a lot of people out there. They're in the middle of a 3-game losing streak, so I think Orlando has a lot of value tonight, hosting Golden State. So that's my first NBA play. And my second NBA play, I'm getting a little bit bolder with the underdogs. I'm taking an underdog money line. We're taking the Thunder plus 215 against the Nuggets tonight. So not Golden State, Oklahoma City, they only lost by 5 in the first meeting against Denver. And this is a Thunder team that is top 5 in defense right now, and the Nuggets team that's also really struggling. Jamal Murray has not really he hasn't gotten back into his flow. It's only like the first 2-3 weeks of the season. He's been out for a really long time. Michael Porter Jr. is also doing the same. And so if Oklahoma City can come in, play some pretty solid defense, that I think that they can push the Nuggets. I love them at plus 6.5. And I think that if Nikola Jokic doesn't have like an MVP type game, which he hasn't really been having this season, then Oklahoma City is very, very live to upset Denver. So those are my 2 NBA picks in terms of like a side. And then I have a player.
And really quick, the story of that game.
Canadian point guards?
Canadian point guards facing off. SGA and Jamal Murray. Let's go.
I knew where you were going with that. I knew exactly.
Yeah, you're catching on to my bits. All right, exactly. Let's. Do you want to give out your NBA prop now as well?
Yeah, so
with the NBA. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm taking Michael Porter Jr. over points tonight. So I got the line at 16.5. It's now moved up to somewhere around 18.5. I actually still like that. Even though it's 2 points higher, and that's because Michael Porter Jr. He's a really, really good shooter. He's shooting close to 49% from 3 at the start of the season. Now he's coming off of a bad game. He only shot 30% in his last game, but he got up 10 attempts from 3. Michael Porter Jr. takes a lot of shots from 3-point land. The volume is going to be there. If he gets to anywhere close to what he's been shooting from three, he doesn't even have to be at 50%. He can be closer to 42% for the night. And I think that the threes are going to be enough to push him over 16 and a half, 18 and a half as well, especially because Jamal Murray, like I said earlier, hasn't gotten acclimated into like his basketball shape this year. So they're going to need Porter Jr. to score a little bit more. So I like his over tonight.
All right, so there you have it. 3 NBA plays from Donnavan for the 2-game slate tonight. I gave out my MLB pick there, but let's dive into a little NHL here. And I'm going to back an underdog on the money line here. I'm going to take the New Jersey Devils plus 135 against the Edmonton Oilers. The Devils, I've talked about them a little bit at the start throughout the first few weeks of the season. I'm just going to keep riding them because they've been the biggest surprise of the season, and we haven't seen them regress yet. They still rank in the top of the NHL in basically every single advanced analytic want to look at. 5-on-5 expected goals for. They're first at 3.56. First in 5-on-5 expected goals against at 1.73. First in high danger scoring chances created. First in high danger scoring chances allowed. I don't know why this Devils team is so good, but I'm going to keep betting on them, especially as underdogs, until they are no longer good, which I assume is going to happen at some point this season. But I will ride this team into the ground here. I was on them a couple nights when they were only small favorites. They won. I will back them now as underdogs, plus 135. I'm going to just keep riding with the New Jersey Devils.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Listen, we all have some underdogs that we're backing tonight. So I like
yes.
Like
a little night of the dogs. Yeah, you had a little plus 215 underdog.
Yes.
Love
Listen,
it.
We're being aggressive. All underdogs on the show tonight, except for the Houston Texans, who we will not back. We will not back.
I forget who it was, but someone in the BetSided community, he's feeling the dogs, taking the Texans. Aggressive, but I respect it. And then my final play before we get into some NFL divisional talk here is a prop bet for tonight's NFL game. And I'm going to go Devontae Smith over 51.5 receiving yards here. I think a lot of attention is going on A.J. Brown, and for good reason. But Devontae Smith quietly still having a pretty good year. He's averaging 60 yards per game, so that's 9 yards above what his set total is for tonight. And you see, he has seen at least 8 targets in 3 of his last 5 starts. So I think everyone's trying to look at A.J. Brown. I think the smart move is to actually look at the next guy and take a little Devontae Smith action. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a big night tonight. So, and especially after last week's performance by A.J. Brown, 3 touchdowns against the Steelers? The Texans are probably going to try to key in on him and not let him score 3 touchdowns like the Steelers did. If they do, that should open things up for Devontae. So I'll take Devontae Smith over 51.5 receiving yards.
Love that play. Especially with his speed, he has a lot of deep play ability. So he might be able to get this on one catch.
That would be beautiful. Early in the game, Eagles come out, open up the game with a 75-yard Devontae Smith touchdown. Done. Cash the bet.
Need that. Circa Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson, 2012.
Yes, correct.
All
right, let's talk some NFL divisions here. Let's start with the NFC South. Buccaneers were huge favorites to win the division heading into this season. So believe it or not, despite their slow start, still minus money favorites here. If I can bring up the odds, the Buccaneers are still minus 135 to win the division, but they are only 1 game back from the Falcons. Falcons plus 250, Saints plus 410, Panthers all the way down at 31-1. I assume we're not going to pick them. So Donnavan, tell me, who is going to win the NFC South?
Point to your hat, and you'll have my answer. I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons to win the NFC South. Reed and I on Friday's show, we were predicting kind of our hot takes. I said that whoever was going to win that game between the Falcons and the Panthers was going to end up winning the NFC South. Falcons win. I think that they are the better team than the Panthers, but I'm kind of out on Tampa Bay. They have too much going on. Tom Brady doesn't look really good. And even though that the defense can still play at a really good level, the strength of that defense has been being able to stuff the run. And they've been ran on for the last 3 weeks, and they've been dominated. And so now that you have the strongest unit on your team showing weakness, I'm not sure where you go from here. They've had a lot of in and out on offense with the wide receivers. So I'm going to take the Falcons because they can run the ball effectively, and they do it at nauseum. They run the second most run plays by percentage in the NFL, and I think that whenever you can do that, you can control the game, you can control the clock a little bit more. Marcus Mariota, he's not turning the ball over that much, and if somehow in the second half of the season they start to decide, hey, let's use Kyle Pitts as a passing threat and use him and Drake London to kind of stretch the field vertically, then they have some things that they can work with. So I like the Falcons to win this division. I think that they have really good value. I think that the fact that the Bucks are still minus money, I hate that for Tampa Bay better. So I'll take the Falcons to win this division.
Another point to support that is the Falcons have the easiest schedule remaining in the NFL based on opponent win percentage. So they do have a bit of a tough game this week with the Chargers, but then after that they play the Panthers again on Thursday Night Football, and then the Bears, the Commanders, and the Steelers. That could be 4 straight wins right there for my Dirty Birds. But what I'm going to do now is any Falcons fan watching this, any of my followers who are Falcons fans, please just mute this for the next 2 minutes here. And I'm going to literally and figuratively take off my Falcons hat. Unfortunately, it truly pains me to say this, but I actually think the best bet is the Saints to win this division at plus 410. I know, it's gross. It's gross. I can't believe I'm saying this about the New Orleans Aints, but they have the 10th easiest remaining schedule. And also, I think the Saints are underperforming. 6th in the NFL in net yards per play. They're leading the division in net yards per play, my favorite stat to look at. The Bucks are 14th, the Panthers are 18th, and the Falcons are 29th in that stat. So Saints by far, at least in net yards per play, have been the best team in the division. Now, a big issue for them is their turnovers, because they're dead last in turnover margin. That is why they have the record they have, an average turnover margin of minus 1.1. So in order to win the division, they either need to stop turning the ball over, or they need to start getting some turnovers of their own on defense. If they start doing that, I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints go on a little bit of a run here. So from a betting standpoint, at their current odds of plus 410, I actually think the Saints are the best bet.
Okay. Listen, I appreciate you for putting your biases aside.
Yes.
Somebody has to do it on today's show. It's not going to be me picking against the Eagles. So props to you for doing that.
Some might call me a hero. Some might call me a hero for doing that.
Some, not me. Okay, I won't go that far.
Now,
you're brave.
I will put my Falcons hat back on, and now let's talk some NFC West action here. Seahawks, who are certainly the team with the lowest odds or the highest odds, whichever the longest odds, I think would be the correct way to say, to win the division at the start of the year. They're now winning the division. They are still not yet the favorites, though. It is the 49ers minus 130, Seahawks plus 260, Rams plus 480, and Cardinals 12-1. What way are you looking at for the NFC West?
I'm looking at the 49ers. I wish I would have gotten on this line even earlier. I wish I would have doubled down, because I think I picked the 49ers to win the division. Somebody might have to fact check me on that, but I remember feeling good about them coming into the year. And then the fact that Jimmy G is back there, I don't have a lot of confidence, but there's a lot of continuity there. They just gave him Christian McCaffrey on the offensive end. They have weapons everywhere with McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. I think that's one of the best skill positions in the league. When everybody's healthy, they have the best defense in the league. I don't think that while Geno Smith and everything that he's doing, it's a really good story, I don't think it's going to be sustainable for the second half of the year. I'm out on the Rams. Their entire offense is where's Cooper Kupp? Throw to Cooper Kupp. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, they have a whole bunch of problems within themselves. And so I think that it just makes the most sense to go with San Francisco, even at minus money. But I feel like this is the absolute last time that you can bet San Francisco at minus 130. Anything past this, you missed the boat.
Yeah, I actually do agree with you, but I am going to make a case for the Seattle Seahawks here, because I think, especially at their odds plus 260, I think they have a little bit of value here as well. 12th in net yards per play. So the Seahawks, this is the thing that I like to call teams frauds, but I only call them frauds if their numbers don't actually hold up to their record. The Seahawks, in my opinion, aren't actually frauds because their numbers hold up. And the issue with the Seahawks early in the season was their defense. They had one of the worst defenses in the NFL, but now, over their last 3 games, the Seahawks are second in the NFL in opponent yards per play. So their defense has completely flipped and is now all of a sudden, at least in the last 3 games, small sample size, has turned into one of the better defenses in the NFL. And over the past couple of years when the Seahawks were having issues, a lot of people were asking, what's the issue? Is it Russell Wilson or is it Pete Carroll? Is Pete Carroll washed up as a coach? It turns out the issue was Russell Wilson. Pete Carroll seems to be a good coach.
We called it in the offseason. Both of us were very, very hesitant on the to just crown the Denver Broncos because we knew that Russell Wilson was falling off a cliff. Shout out to us.
So, I mean, and now you have to call the Seahawks well coached because Pete Carroll seems to, to take this team and have them outperform their ability that we all assumed they had. Hats off to Pete Carroll. Yeah. I'm with you. It's either Seahawks or 49ers. You can't take the Rams. The Rams are terrible. Second last in the NFL in yards per play. The Rams, their offensive line is killing them. You can't take the Cardinals either, especially because the new Call of Duty just got released. So the Cardinals, their season's done. They had to rack up the wins before Call of Duty got released. It's released now. Their season's over. Kyler Murray's gonna.
It's happened every year. It's happened every year. They start the season on fire. Call of Duty gets released, and then the season plummets. It's insane.
So there you have it. NFC West. I will back the Seahawks. You will back the 49ers. NFC South. You will back the Falcons. I will back the Saints. But let's get to the final segment of the show here. Game of the night. It is the Thursday night football game. The Eagles trying to remain undefeated. This should be their easiest game of the year. They should be able to keep the undefeated record intact. They're taking on the Houston Texans. The line has climbed up at most places, all the way up to 14. We're talking 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points that the Eagles need to cover. Donnavan, let's start with you. What is your best bet for the game? Are you willing to lay the points with the Eagles?
I will. Like I'll back the Eagles on the spread. However, I think that the better bet is on the total. I'm actually taking the under at 45.5 tonight. Ooh. And it's because I think that even if Philadelphia dominates the game the way that they even the way that they did last week against the Steelers, I think that there's still a really good possibility that Houston doesn't get on the board a lot, or you see a game tonight that follows a similar game script to the Minnesota Vikings game on Monday night, where you do all the damage in the first half, get up by your lead, and then the second half you kind of just maintain. We talked about earlier kind of the script that the Eagles have followed this entire year, and that third quarter has really been a low point for them. And so I think that if you're looking at them and saying you're going to get an entire quarter of offense taken away from them in kind of how they normally operate, I think the under has some value tonight. So I will take Philadelphia. I'll take Philly on the spread. I'll take the under, and that's what I'm rolling with.
All right, I like it. I'm going to be with you on the spread. I'll take Philadelphia here. For me to lay this many points on a team, I need the team to be a top 5 team, and I need their opponent to be a bottom 5 team. This is one of those cases where that is the situation. They are truly, almost every single stat that you look at, they rank inside if not the top 10, or if not the top 5, at least the top 10. Texans, bottom of the NFL. A key area where the Eagles have a huge advantage is third down conversion rate. 4th in the NFL in third down conversion rate, getting a first down of 45.45% of their third down chances. Texans, 30th. It's going to be hard to stay close to an Eagles team with as good as the Eagles defense is if you're not going to convert third down chances. So I do like the Eagles. I think they match up well stylistically. I think they outskill them. I would say my only issue, and I brought this up earlier, is if the Texans run the ball, because this has been the whole of the entire Eagles team has been the run defense. If the Texans run the ball successfully, keep the Eagles offense off the field, they might run into trouble and not cover the spread, but the numbers are just too lopsided towards the Eagles. I have to back the points with the Eagles, so I will take the Eagles to cover.
Yeah, and the point you made about Houston running the ball, that's another reason why I think that the under has values, because if Houston starts to get going running the ball, a lot of time is gonna come off that clock. So I think that we might see maybe a little bit fewer possessions in this game if Houston is able to find some success there.
Yes, run the ball, move the clock, and yeah, the under could get there as well. I don't think we did our recap, so before we get to the poll result, let's bring up the recap graphic. that I unfortunately forgot about from earlier. These are our best bets we gave out earlier in the show. I'm on the New Jersey Devils plus 135 against the Oilers, the over 7.5 in World Series Game 5, and the over 51.5 for Devontae Smith receiving yards. Donovan, you're taking the Orlando Magic plus 9.5 against the Warriors. Thunder on the money line plus 215. Love that against the Nuggets, and then over 16.5 points for Michael Porter Jr. The poll results are in, my friend.
What are they on?
They're on the Texans. I'm shocked by that. I'm shocked. I thought everyone was on the Eagles. This might be the most shocking poll result I've seen in the history of Daily BetSlip. The BetSided community is on the Texans.
I thought we had something good going with the community. They have betrayed me today. Going with the Texans. I'm deeply hurt. I am deeply hurt.
Texans or the community is 2-1 this week too. They're having a rare winning week, so I don't know. I'm nervous.
I hope the community drops to 2-2. Or you know what? Actually, listen, we can compromise as long as the Eagles get the win. Texans can cover. They can do all that stuff. Yada yada yada. We're staying undefeated. We're just not losing tonight. That's
all right. All right, we'll see. If the Texans do win, I will personally send a prize of some sort to the member of the community who picked Texans outright in the community pick section. So we'll see. Yeah. Undefeated season on the line. Weird things happen. But that is it. That is our show. I hope the community lose their bet because I'm on Eagles to cover. So we'll see how that goes. Big Houston versus Philly night, both in Thursday Night Football and the World Series. But that is our show. Be sure to check out the early read, which went live on Tuesday. Reed Wallach gave out his best bets for this week's college football slate. And as always, Daily BetSlip will be back tomorrow, an hour earlier. So at 4 p.m. Eastern, Donovan will be you and Reed Wallach talking, I'm sure, some NBA, some MLB, college football, all that good stuff. So be sure to tune in for that. Any final thoughts before we close things off, Donovan?
Fly, Eagles, fly. We're staying undefeated.
Love it. All right. That is our show. Thank you all so much for watching. Gamble or bless. We'll talk to you later.